Hi there. We've been working through the story of Easter this week, looking at its characters and its themes. Today we're looking at the disciples. As I mentioned a couple of days ago, I work as a church minister. Now, I don't know what you think a church minister does. Many people think it's just drinking cups of tea and meeting with old ladies. It'd be great if that was my job. But actually, a lot of my job involves counselling, having people tell me some really horrible things, and telling people and assuring people of forgiveness. I don't know if any of you had any kind of experience with church who are watching this video. So many people have told me that their experience of church is one of being hurt, one of being cast out. People like this have no need to be told again that church is not full of perfect people. Religion isn't for perfect people. Let's smash the idea this Easter that Christianity is about being good enough for God. We're going to do that by looking at the disciples, the 12 guys who started the church. You'd think they'd be great, wouldn't you? You'd think they would be the religious cream of the crop. Look at what Jesus says they're going to do to him at Easter. This very night you will all fall away on account of me. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. You'd think these guys would be religiously great, wouldn't you? Loyal. You'd think that God would let them into heaven to be with him forever in eternal joy. But the reality is, Jesus says, as soon as he is arrested and taken away from them, they're going to leave him. They're going to abandon him. They're going to run away like sheep. It's exactly what happened. As Jesus was being arrested, the disciples all ran away. Look, God knows. Jesus knows here, doesn't he, what his disciples are really like. Jesus knows what goes on in the deepest parts of every single person. None of us, no part of us, is hidden from his sight. I wonder how that makes us feel. If we are religious, that should disquiet us, making us think, have I lived in line with God's standards? The answer is probably not no. If we're not religious, and yet God knows all about us, it makes us think, how am I going to stand in front of him when he asks me, what have I done with my life? How have I loved him? You see, God knows. Why do we need Easter? Why do we need Jesus to go willingly as a ransom? Because God knows what we're really like. If I could put it really simply, Easter isn't for good people. Easter is for people like the disciples. Easter is for failures. Easter is for people who morally and spiritually and ethically don't measure up. And I think if we took a moment, if you would say, how will I stand before the eternal, perfect God? You'd have to say that all of us need Easter. All of us need Jesus as our ransom. All of us need Jesus as our representative to have his perfect life, not our lives. How many of us linger under the impression that being religious or being Christian even is about being good enough for God? Let's break that to pieces this Easter. It's not about what we do. God knows our hearts. Instead, It's about coming to Jesus, trusting him, acknowledging our failures before God, our moral issues, and letting Jesus stand in our place. Easter is great news because Easter is for failures.